Hey all, in this video we're going to be looking at game theory. And so game theory is really a part of oligopolies, which is our next video. And the reason why this is so important is because game theory is a big chunk of what's going to be asked on the AP exam in regards to oligopolies. All right, so let's get started. So game theory. So game theory is part of oligopoly, and it's the part of oligopoly that tends to be the more heavily tested on concept, right, within this particular market structure. And so that's why it has its own separate video. So what game theory is, it's just the study of how people behave in strategic situations. And so the reason why we talk about game theory, and the reason why you have to know about game theory in regards to oligopolies, is that it helps us understand how oligopolies maximizes profit. And so why learn about it? Well, in our next video, right, we're going to learn more about the characteristics of oligopolies. But for right now, all you have to know is that oligopolies are just a few small firms that control a vast amount of the industry. So in a sense, it's like a monopoly, but instead of a single firm, you have about like 4 to 5 to 6 firms there. And so because there's just not a lot of competition, firms have to be interdependent, since they have to anticipate and react to the decision of their competitors there. And so the reason why they have to be interdependent is because the pricing output decisions, they have to be strategic, right? If they are not strategic, the oligopoly firm is going to incur an economic loss. And so what game theory allows these firms to do is it allows them to make the best possible strategies to maximize their profit there. And so before we get started with our notes, right? Well, here, let's look at the prisoner's dilemma, which is a pretty common sort of example of game theory. And so 2 people are charged with a crime, and each one of these prisoners have 2 choices. They can either deny or confess. So what should these prisoners do? And so within game theory, there's something called a game theory matrix, which is what you see on the screen right now. So prisoner 1, right, has 2 choices. Prisoner 1 can deny or confess. And so if prisoner 1 denies and prisoner 2 confesses, prisoner 1 gets 20 years in jail, but prisoner 2 gets off scot-free because prisoner 2 confessed there. If prisoner 1 confesses and prisoner 2 denies, well, prisoner 1 gets 20 years in jail. So here, what is the best possible thing for both prisoner 1 and prisoner 2 to do? Well, they both should confess, right? Mainly because they both have an incentive to cheat, right? Because if one person confesses and the other denies, well, the denier gets 20 years in jail. So for both prisoner 2 and prisoner 1, they should both confess. And then what we're going to talk about in the next couple slides is, well, how did we get there? Why is that the strategy that both prisoners or both firms chose? So that leads us into the game theory matrix. So before we start, whenever we look at a game theory matrix, there can be, or more than likely, is a dominant strategy. A dominant strategy is what the best possible move a firm can make regardless of what your opponent does. So no matter what your opponent does, this is the decision you're going to make 100% of the time. So how we read a game theory matrix, and I made this in different colors to make it a little bit easier for you guys to read. So everything in red refers to firm A. Everything in blue refers to firm B. So even if there isn't colors, on the left-hand side of each box is always going to refer to firm A. The right-hand side of each box, or what's in blue, is always going to refer to firm B. So here, how we read this is if firm B goes high, firm A has 2 options here, right? So let's erase all this to make it a little bit easier to read for us, right? So if firm B goes high, firm A has 2 options, right? So if firm B goes high, firm A can go high and make $100, or they can go low and make $50. Well, which one should firm A choose if firm B goes high? Well, firm A is going to go high and pick the $100 because they wouldn't go low because they'll be making 50, which is less than 100 if firm A chooses high. Well, if firm B goes low, right? So if firm B goes low, firm A can go high and make 60, or they can go low and make $20. What is firm A going to do? Well, firm A has an incentive to go high again, right? Because 60 is greater than $20. So here we know firm A has a dominant strategy, right? Because no matter if firm B goes high or goes low, firm A is always incentivized to go high. So firm A has a dominant strategy. Well, what about firm B? So if firm A goes high, firm B has two options, right? Firm B can go high and make 50, or they can go low and make 90. So if firm A goes high, what is firm B going to do? Well, they would rather go low instead of high, because if firm A goes high, firm B can go high and make 50, or they can go low and make 90. Firm B would rather make $90 in that scenario, so firm B is going to choose the low option there. Well, what happens if firm A goes low? Well, firm B can go high and make 40, or they can go low and make $10. So what is firm B going to do if firm A goes low? Well, if firm A goes low, firm B is going to go high and make the $40 there because they would rather go high and make 40 than go low and make 10. So in other words, it looks like this. And so we get to the point of what we're going to call a Nash equilibrium. A Nash equilibrium is just the optimal outcome that would occur when both firms make a decision simultaneously and have no incentive to change here. So here, our Nash equilibrium is firm A going high and firm B going low. This box right here, right? Because we know firm A has a dominant strategy of always going high. No matter what firm B does, firm A is always going to go high. And so firm B then has the incentive to always go low in that scenario then. And so that's why firm A high, firm B low is going to be our Nash equilibrium. All right, so real quick, this is going to be a guided practice. Well, is there a dominant strategy? Who has the dominant strategy and what? And is there a Nash equilibrium? So pause the video real quick, right? And then we'll do it. All right, so here, this shouldn't say confess, this should say low, and that's a typo, and I apologize for that. So everything in blue represents firm A. Everything in red represents firm B. So here, right, if firm B goes high, firm A can go high and make 90, or they can go low and make $80. So what is firm A going to do? Well, firm A is going to go high in this scenario, right? Because they would rather make $90 instead of 80. Well, if firm B goes low, what is firm A going to do? Well, yet again, firm A can go high and make 50, or they can go low and make 70. Firm A then has an incentive to go low here. So we are going to say that firm A does not have a Nash or does not have a dominant strategy, right? Because firm A is either going to go high when firm B goes high, or they're going to go low when firm B goes low as well. Well, what about firm B? Does firm B have a dominant strategy? Well, if firm A goes high, firm B can go high and make 40, or they can go low and make 60. So what is firm B going to do? Well, firm B is going to choose the low option because they would rather have 60 instead of $40. Well, what happens if firm A decides to price low then? Well, if firm A decides to price low, firm B can go high and make 70, or they can go low and make 80. Well, firm B then has an incentive to go low. So firm B has a dominant strategy, right? What is their dominant strategy? Well, it's to go low every single time because no matter what firm A does, firm B is always going to go low. And so our Nash equilibrium is when firm A goes low and when firm B goes low. Because firm B is always going to go low because that is our dominant strategy. If firm B always goes low, firm A has the incentive to go low as well. So what do we learn? Well, oligopolies has to use strategic pricing, which is essentially the essence of game theory. There is a tendency to collude to gain profit, right? If both firms cheat and they talk to each other, which is colluding, they can make more money without relying on game theory, right? So collusion results in the incentive to cheat, which is against the laws of our country, right? Which is why we're going to call it cheating here. And at the end of the day, because collusion and cheating is illegal, firms have to make informed decisions based on their dominant strategies or other firms' dominant strategies there. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope all this made sense. If it doesn't, there's practice AP questions, right? Also, you could go on to AP Classroom, look at the videos there, and do the practice AP problems that are associated with those practice videos in AP Classroom. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.